It's the Draftsmen Show.
So, Marshall, we're talking about focus and discipline this week.
How shall we talk about focus and discipline?
Okay, so this topic came up when somebody on Instagram messaged me, and they were asking for feedback, and I kind of just started questioning him a little more, trying to figure out his story, and basically after questioning him for a little bit, is I found out that he is delusional in how much time he thinks he has. So I asked him, like, how much TV do you watch? And how many video games do you watch? Because I felt like this guy was very distracted. And he was like, pretty much, like, from when I wake up to when I go to sleep. And I was like, okay, well, this is obviously a problem. How do you not see this? And then he started trying to justify it by saying, but TV gives me it inspires me, and these video games inspire me. And I was like, no, man, if they inspired you, it would inspire you to stop watching TV and go do something with that inspiration. If it inspires you to just watch more TV, that's not inspiring. That's just addiction, right?
Yes.
So I told him, like, you got to get disciplined. Watching TV is not helping you become a better artist as much as you think it is. You need to start making difficult decisions. Watching TV is an easy decision, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a choice that you're like, what am I going to do in the next 2 hours that I have after dinner, right? TV's easy, no risk, very risk-free.
That's right.
You are almost guaranteed to be entertained. Yep. You're not going to fail at anything unless you suck at watching TV. But drawing is very challenging, very taxing on your brain. It takes a lot of energy. And you risk failing, especially if you're new. You risk drawing something bad, which makes you feel bad. And then you have to deal with those emotions of a bad drawing. And that sucks, right? To make that decision to have a bad feeling after a few hours, and you're like, I'm not going to do something good, but I need to practice anyway. That takes discipline.
Yes.
Right? You have to know that this is just something I have to do to get better at this thing that I love. And that's where this came from. And I wanted to just talk to people about how important it is to be a disciplined artist if you really want to become a professional.
You're touching on something that a psychologist who had a very popular book in the late 80s or early 90s, M. Scott Peck, it was called The Road Less Traveled. Mm-hmm. Everybody was reading it. And in there, one of the things he claimed is that the basic sin of humanity is laziness. And what he means is that it is exactly what you said. There's no risk in doing certain things.
Or doing nothing almost, right?
Yeah, although the irony is that in the long term, you gambled away everything. Yeah. But if you are going to take a chance and do something that could fail, there is risk. But the positive side of it is that the greatest feelings in life come from that. In fact, I think there's an analogy to what the thing about gambling. There are some people who get addicted to gambling that don't need the money. Mm-hmm. And I've been told that the specific thing you can put your finger on that is the gambler's addiction is the rush of endorphins that happen the moment before they find out whether they're going to win or lose. So that feeling of will I make it or not, when it's applied to gambling, can end up ruining your life. But that feeling, when it's applied to whether I can pull off this evening's work of drawing or painting or coming up with something creative, will still give you all those disappointments. The risk is real. But then when you have the good ones, you get the endorphins and you get the progress as well. So it's taking that same phenomenon of, can I pull it off? Can I not pull it off? Let's see. But it's the opposite of laziness. It's putting oneself on the line for real risk. Here's something that I see about this, is that when you look to the mainstream culture for what is normal, You are almost guaranteed to be caught up in the mainstream. And the last thing that the mainstream cares about is that you will become a master at anything. What they do care about is, are you in touch with all of the stuff we're doing? And it means that in order to succeed at such an odd craft as drawing, painting, storytelling, or anything else, you either have to pull yourself out of the mainstream to do your own thing, or better yet, get into an alternate stream where it's not dominated by saying, did you see this? Did you do that? Are you in touch with this part of culture? The alternate streams, in my experience, have been people who know who Howard Pyle and C. Wyeth are, who know who Heinrich Klei are, who know who Mucha and Leyendecker are, who know about Da Vinci and Michelangelo and how each of their styles were. It's very nerdy, but it's nerdy in a way that contributes to their skill if they're going to be picture makers.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that you can have two sides to your life. One that's a very focused, maybe half your day or your weekdays where you're really focused on that kind of stuff. And then you can have your weekends where you digest all of this pop culture media stuff. Go watch a movie, go watch Avengers, go watch the new Game of Thrones episode, all the popular stuff. Like, that's fine. That's how I do it. I break up my week where my weekdays are work related, and then at night it's family. We don't watch, we don't go for movies. And then the weekend we watch all that other stuff. And yeah,
you're one of the most culturally in touch, successful artists that I know.
No.
Who are you thinking of?
I mean, Sean is more culturally in touch than me.
Yeah, Sean is culturally in touch. Back to the thing that inspires you. When he says it inspires you, how do you test whether it inspires you? It's whether or not you've produced. Did it inspire you enough? Inspire means to breathe in, right? And then you got to breathe out, which means you're putting out your own product. I take in this stuff that inspires me. Now I'm going to put out some stuff.
Wow, Marshall.
Yeah, isn't that something?
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
You got to perspire.
Perspire. You're making me perspire, Marshall. This is getting hot.
Yeah. Focus and discipline.
Yeah, let's focus. Well, thank you for saying that. I don't think I'm very culturally in tune, actually. But
well, I've seen it as a major thing that keeps people from achieving is that they look to say, what's normal? What does the culture say is normal? And if you do what the culture says is normal, how will you ever be countercultural enough to succeed in something so odd as professional art? Entertainment arts, you do have to be in touch with the thing you're doing. I mean, there's if you're designing video games, you're going to be immersed in video games.
Right.
If you're an animator, you're going to be immersed in animation.
It's true.
But
the
there's
test
a healthy
balance to that.
I know.
Just if you make movies, that doesn't mean you have to watch every movie that comes out. That's impossible. You can be picky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't been to most of the museums in the world. Mm-hmm. I've been to a handful.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider myself a professional painter.
Yeah.
You could, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to digest everything. Don't use that as an excuse. You could limit to how much you need. You don't need to see everything in order to create. Spend most of your time creating new things, and then a small percentage of your time keeping up to date about the best of today in your field. And you'll have time to create still.
Nicolaides quotes Da Vinci at the beginning of that book, Natural Way to Draw, that the supreme misfortune is when theory outstrips performance. And this is a little different. This is
repeat that.
The supreme misfortune is when theory, that is my knowledge, outstrips performance, that is my skill.
Okay.
This is a take on that. The misfortune here is where consumption outstrips performance.
So what's the point of knowing all that stuff if you're just not using it?
Low, doo, 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 low, doo, 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 low, doo, 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 doo.